What's going on, guys? T-Mart here, and today I've got something very, very special for you all. So, today we're going to be talking about Black Ops 3 multiplayer, but the deal is, I actually got the chance to play it, which is pretty insane. So, I was lucky enough to be invited out to Treyarch this past weekend. There were only like 10 guys that went out there, and we all got a presentation from the devs, we got to talk to devs, as well as get a couple of hours of hands-on time with the game, which is super, super crazy. So, big shout out to Treyarch. Thank you guys so much for inviting me. It was an honor. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to record any gameplay to be able to share with you guys, but obviously, I do have a lot of information that I want to tell you. So, make sure you guys keep checking back on the channel. I've got videos going up all, day long and tomorrow and even the next day. So make sure you guys keep checking back. We're gonna have a ton of stuff coming out. But in this video here, I want to just kind of go through and give you guys like my first run through, my first like kind of like overview and first impressions and review of the multiplayer, because I was really pretty impressed by it. So let's get started. Now, starting off, one of the biggest things that I know people want to hear about, and one of the biggest questions this community has, is about the movement. So the movement in Black Ops 3 is fast, but it's not chaotic. You aren't constantly getting shot from every different direction like in Advanced Warfare. Instead, it's more of like the action happens within your field of view, kind of like old school Call of Duty. Now, the deal is, there is a thrust jump, but it's not a boost jump. So let me repeat that. There is a thrust jump, but it is not a boost jump. What the thrust jump is basically you jump up in the air with A, and then once you're in the air, you can hold A again, and that's going to activate your thrusters. And then from there, you can move in whatever direction you want. You can go forwards, backwards, left, right, diagonal, anything like that. You're going to slowly kind of go up at an incline, and it's an analog type thing. So it's like you start off slow, and then you slowly start to build up a little bit of speed. It's not like the boost jump of Advanced Warfare, where it was like an instantaneous burst of speed. So it's really kind of an interesting thing. Now, the deal is you can't use it for very long. Obviously, this could be tuned, but as of this build of the game right now, you could only thrust for about 3/4 of a second straight, which isn't that long. So it's like, this is not like a super crucial, like absolutely insanely important part of the game like it was in Advanced Warfare. The thrust jump is more to kind of get around obstacles, to get up to a second story, to get over, a piece of rubble or a barrier or something like that. It's not everything. It's not meant to, evade gunfire. It's not meant to jump up into the air every time you get in a gunfight, stuff like that. Like, most of the gunfights that happen in Black Ops 3 happen on the ground. In fact, I don't think I remember one gunfight where I was, like, thrusting up in the air for no reason. Like, it's not built that way. It's not anything like the exo jump was. So just keep that in mind. It's kind of a way, what they said it was a way to remove ladders, because ladders are slow and boring and stuff like that. So that's what the thrust jump is for. And you guys will see, like, the maps aren't built for it in the way that the maps were for the exosuit. Like, there are many lanes and stuff where it seems like you could get over something, but it doesn't let you, because it doesn't want you to do that. It doesn't want you to be coming down on top of enemies all the time like Advanced Warfare was. They want to keep that chaos out of the game, which is kind of cool. And I think it definitely works a lot better, and it makes a lot more sense than the exosuit did, and it kind of makes the game a lot more predictable and play like old school Call of Duty did, which is nice. It's like most of the action actually happens in your field of vision rather than everything is going on up above you, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, there is the thrust jump. Now, also another huge thing they added in for movement is wall running. Yes, that's right, wall running is in Black Ops 3. It's pretty crazy. So basically, if you run up to a wall, you're sprinting at a wall, and then you kind of jump at it at an angle, you're going to start wall running. And you can wall run for quite a good distance. Over time, if you do it for too long, you're going to start to kind of, you go on like a crescent, kind of path, and you'll start to go downwards and start to slip and fall, and you realize when that's happening, you realize you have to get off the wall and reset yourself. One cool thing you can do is you can chain these together. So there are like many different, areas of the map that you can tell it was built for the wall running. So you can start running on one wall and then jump across the other wall and run on that, and then jump across and run again. And it's kind of cool. Like, all the chaining and all the combos you can put together, you can really move across the map pretty quickly, which is a lot of fun. And then finally, there's some other, little nuances and little new features you can do. Actually, there's a power slide now, kind of like the boost slide of Advanced Warfare. It pretty much works the same way as the boost slide. It replaced the dolphin dive, which made me kind of sad, but hey, we gotta evolve, we gotta kind of get better every year. Also, there's swimming now, there's improved mantling, there's all kinds of stuff. I've actually got a more detailed movement video coming out soon, so make sure you guys look out for that. But yeah, overall, it's pretty good. Like I said, it's fast, but it's not chaotic. Like, it feels like it's a good speed, but it's just like there's not so much going on that you can't comprehend it, like Advanced Warfare happened to be at times. Now, next up, moving on, Specialists. This is definitely one of the biggest changes that they've added in this year, and there's so much information to talk about. I'm going to make its own video on it, so make sure you guys look out for that. But I want to give you guys a quick rundown in this, review here. So basically, specialists, the best thing I can compare them to are the different classes within Destiny. If you guys have played Destiny, it's like there's the Warlock, there's the Titan, stuff like that. That's kind of what these are. So basically, they're these new classes of characters that you choose before each match. It's kind of similar to how you choose score streaks. So it's not a part of created class, but before each match, you can choose your specialist and then kind of a special ability with that specialist. So each specialist affects the way your character looks, affects the way your character sounds, and they have either a special weapon or a special ability that you can, use to activate in game. So there are 9 different specialists, and each one has their own special things. Like some of the special weapons include, there's an explosive shooting compound bow, there's a one-shot annihilator hand cannon that kind of reminds me of like the golden gun from, GoldenEye 007. There's also this one guy that does like this ground smash thing, kind of like a Hulk smash that like blows up everything around him, and I got quad pieced in it one time. Like it was absolutely insane. There are all these like crazy powers and weapons and stuff that these people can use. And there's also abilities where there's one where you have temporary super speed that's really good for CTF, where for like 10 seconds or so you're running at like 4 times normal speed. There's another one where temporarily you earn double the score, so that's good if you're trying to earn your score streaks. Or there's another one where you can actually teleport back to a position you were at 3 seconds ago. So you can use that to your advantage on enemies to get out of bad situations, stuff like that. Like it's really crazy. And they only showed us 4 of the specialists, or 3, how many was it? It was either 3 or 4 of the specialists at this thing, and there are 9 total, which is absolutely nuts. So there's a lot more to come. But basically, throughout matches, there's kind of a little bar over in the bottom right corner of your screen that will fill up as the game progresses. So it fills up as time passes in game, as well as it's kind of accelerated by you earning score, by getting kills, playing the objectives, stuff like that. And then once it fills all the way up, you get your power or your weapon, whichever one you chose. You can't have both. You got to choose one of the two. And you get to hold on to it, and you can use it whenever you want. You just press L1 and R1, or RB and LB at the same time, the 2 bumpers at the same time, and you're going to pull out your thing. And then you can use your thing, whether it be an ability or a weapon or whatever it is, but then if you're killed while you're using it, you lose it, you start back from ground zero, and you got to start earning it again. So it's kind of weird. Like I said, it's really kind of similar to Destiny if you guys have played that, but it's totally different from anything we've ever seen in Call of Duty before, and I definitely welcome the change. I think it's pretty cool, and I can't wait to see what some of the other abilities are. But like I said, we'll go into more detail about that in our specialists video, so make sure you guys come back and check that out. Now, next up, another thing that I'm going to be doing its own video on, but I want to mention here, is the gunsmith. So the gunsmith is like this totally new, it's not a part of created class, but it's a new feature having to do with guns that allows you to completely customize your weapons, and allows you to create your own weapon variants and your own custom weapon camos. Yes, that's right. There's a new Camo Editor that's exactly like the Emblem Editor. It's got 64 layers. It's absolutely nuts. Like I said, we'll talk about it later, but that thing's, it's really cool. Basically, you can create your own weapons with, certain attachment setups, certain camo setups, custom camo setups, all kinds of stuff. You can save those weapons to your character. I think at some point you're going to be able to share those weapons with friends and stuff. It's absolutely nuts. Now, speaking of guns, this was like a pre-alpha build, like it's a super early build of the game, and I only got to use a couple of weapons from each class, so I can't say much in terms of balancing, but it did feel really good. Like the class of weapons we have in this game are assault rifles, SMGs, shotguns, LMGs, and snipers, so it's pretty simple there, and so far it seems to be a nice balance. Like, there's everything from full auto to semi-auto to burst ARs. The SMGs had some good variety. There's one of them that was like super good at close range, and then kind of okay at medium range. The other one was better at medium range and not so good at close range. There was also a bolt-action sniper called the Locust that was a one-shot kill from the waist up. That was a lot of fun. I really liked that one. It had some cool iron sights on it. And then also, LMGs. I kind of felt like LMGs. If anything, the shotgun, the one shotgun I was able to use, it kind of reminded me of the R870 from Black Ops 2. It seemed a little bit weak, but, I'm not sure. Like I said, balancing will probably change a million different times before this game actually comes public, so you can't really talk about things being weak or strong at this point. But yeah, overall the guns felt pretty solid, even though I did only get to take a look at probably like 8 or 10 total of them. Now, talking about guns, What about the gunplay? So like I said earlier, the movement of this game is fast, but it's not chaotic. The gunplay is very similar to that of Black Ops 2. So there's room for movement and strategy in gunfights. It's not like, Ghosts or Modern Warfare 2 or some of the other Call of Duty games where you have super low health and the first person to aim down sight wins. It's not like that. It's more like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, that sort of thing. We have a little bit more health, and even if somebody else gets the kind of the jump on you and the first shot on you, you can still, dive over to cover, get behind cover, and kind of outsmart them and win, which is kind of cool. It kind of raised that skill ceiling. Now, next up, let's talk about score streaks. So the score streaks we were able to see were very, very fun and futuristic. One of the major themes that they've worked with this year is pretty much everything can be fought back against. So there's like an RCXD thing that you can obviously shoot and it blows up. There's this like robotic soldier that will like walk around the map like Terminator style. Obviously you can shoot him and blow him up. They're like these spike balls that roll all around the map. You can shoot them and blow them up. So they said that that's one of the things they want to do. Like they want to have kill streaks be powerful this time around, and I noticed that the biggest score streak they had available for us this time was called the mothership, and it's kind of like the big like VTOL heavy gunner with rockets ship that you go up in the sky and you rain down enemies. It was very powerful. It was really, really good, and you really got a lot of kills with it. It was nice because in Ghost and Advanced Warfare, the score streaks have kind of been lacking. Like they haven't been very lethal, and it seems like in this game they're going to be a little bit more lethal, but pretty much everything can also be fought against. So if the enemy team is smart and they work together, they're going to be able to take you out, which I think is kind of a fair and fun balance. Now, next up, talking about more multiplayer here, let's talk about the maps that I saw. So I only got to see 3 maps here, but so what they did tell us is that one of their main focuses with all of their maps were 3 lanes. They really like the 3-lane map design, and 3 is kind of their magic number. Like they said, you should never have more than 3 options in any scenario, no matter where you are in the map. They want to keep it simple. They want to keep it so it's not absolutely crazy. There's not a lot of verticality. Like I said before, everything kind of stays within your field of view, within your screen. There's nothing going on that you can't see, that the lack of screen space is kind of constricting you from, which is nice. So we saw 3 maps. One was Combine, which was this like urban super symmetrical with an open center map. Like it had buildings along the outside and flank routes and stuff, and then the center was kind of like this courtyard that you rain down upon. There's like a bridge you could go under and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. Also, there's another one called Hunted, and this one was kind of like an island retreat type map. It was really, really cool. This is the map that you could swim on. It had like this cool underwater area that you could use to flank around that not a lot of people expect you from. You could go in from like this cove side, or you could go in from the basement of a building, or you could go underneath a waterfall and dive in back behind the waterfall, which was kind of cool. And then finally there was Stronghold, which was this pretty big snow map. And they actually said that Stronghold was the biggest map in the game, but it didn't feel that big to me. Like it didn't feel too crazy, which is really, really nice. Obviously like some of our previous games, Advanced Warfare didn't do too bad, but like Ghost had some absolutely huge maps, and like Stonehaven and stuff like that, and that wasn't really the case in this game. It seems like the map's going to be pretty small and pretty tight, which is nice. Now, talking about the look of the maps, they were all very colorful, just like Black Ops 2. Like, it looks really, really good. Obviously, Snow Map didn't have too much color in it, but the other two, they were just very bright, very vibrant. The characters don't really wash out with the colors behind them, which is nice. Like, it's a good-looking game, and I can't wait till you guys can see some gameplay of it. Hopefully, I'll be able to get you guys some gameplay soon. Now, finally, the last thing I'm talking about is the game modes. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any new information for you guys here. There were no new modes that we saw, no new modes that they talked about. I'm sure they've got some stuff up their sleeves, but we did play TDM, we played Domination, we played Hardpoint, and we played CTF. So those 4 game modes are definitely going to be in the game. I think we probably could have kind of assumed that. Those are 4 pretty solid staple game modes, especially for Treyarch games. But I don't know. Hopefully we'll be able to get some more information about some new game modes here soon. Like Uplink, I thought was a really cool game mode that Sledgehammer added in with Advanced Warfare, and I'm hoping that Treyarch has a few tricks up their sleeve as well. So anyway, there you guys have it. That's just kind of my first impressions and review of Black Ops 3. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Obviously with every new game, it's kind of like a honeymoon stage where you just like everything is awesome to you. But it honestly it felt like a really good game, and they're still super early in the development process. Like I said, said, it's pre-alpha. They aren't even at alpha yet. They aren't even at beta yet. It's not even, close to being ready to be done. They still have like 6 months left to go. But, so far, it looks really, really solid. I had a lot of fun. And I think they're really going to kill it. I mean, it's Treyarch. Everybody loves Treyarch. This is their first year on the 3-year development cycle. They've had so long to kind of, perfect and polish this game. And I think they're going to blow us out of the water. And this is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. Like, they only shared a very tiny bit of this game with us so far. And I'm sure there's a lot more to come. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If there's any questions that you guys have that I didn't really cover or didn't cover enough in this video, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I'll do some follow-up videos. And like I said, I've got like a bunch of other videos coming out today. Probably like 8 more videos today, and then like 4 or 5 videos tomorrow and the next day coming out. So make sure you guys keep checking back. But anyway, thank you guys. I'll catch you all later. Check out these 2 videos on the screen. If you haven't seen yet, peace out.